I'd like to welcome everyone to the Public Works Committee meeting for the budget of 2026 for the town of Groton. We have 4 present, which constitutes a quorum. I declare this meeting in session. Thank you, Mayor Hendricks, for coming. If you'd like to come up and join us, we'll start with you. Absolutely. We'll start with account 1090 on page 180. I'd like to do that overview that we do.
Absolutely. So if you go back into Appendix A on page 1, this is a letter that I sent Town Manager Burt. You guys have that? Actually, yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll start there. Dear Mr. Burt, please, attached, please find the City of Groton highway budget for FY 2026. The overall highway budget for FY 2026 is increased by 2.4% over last year's budget, representing a total increase of $74,557. The majority of the increase is a result of personnel increases and funds to conduct a state required ADA accessibility audit and action plan of the city's roadways. We are submitting, along with our budget, backup documents which have been requested by the town in the past. Documents included contain worksheets which detail the costs included for both personal services and operating expenses. We're attaching for informational purposes a copy of the city's capital improvement plan for FY 2026, FY 2031 as it relates to the highway budget. We look forward to meeting you to discuss the budget. Sincerely, Keith Hedrick, Mayor, City of Groton. So our budget, most of the budgets that you guys, that the RTM sees are O&M budgets, operating and maintaining budgets, operating and maintenance budgets. When the city submits the highway budget and when we submit the police budget, those are burdened budgets or fully loaded budgets. So that means everything is included, including non-departmentals, meaning insurance, OPEB, pension, and everything. So that's one thing I want to bring up. And then the second thing is, because you guys were here last year, we talked a little bit last year about the Special Act of 1964 that created a city of Groton, and talked about that the city, that the 3 of the councilors will meet with the town of Groton in order to establish the budget. So the town council has already passed this budget. So now the RTM does have to pass it, but there's really not a whole lot you can do. So our budget process is Bill builds the budget, he comes to me, he goes back, comes to me, he goes back. So we do that, and then it goes to my city council, and then it goes to the what we refer to as a 3-on-3, 3 city councilors, and then 3 town councilors. They review it, talk about it, and then it goes to the town council for review and approval, or review and approval, and then it comes to the RTM subcommittee, and then it goes to the RTM body level. So I think you guys are all familiar with that. What else? And with that, I'll turn it over to Bill. Or do you have any questions before?
That the meeting you had with the 3 representatives of the town, is there a record of that?
Yeah, we took minutes, we took notes, took minutes of it, and we recorded it.
Okay,
But that basically, they asked a lot of questions, and they didn't vote on it. They talk about it, and then when they go to the town council meeting, that's when it officially gets voted on and approved or adjusted then. And in this particular case, the town council approved the entire budget with the exception of the Board of Ed and CIPs. So
Yeah,
this is all rolled up into it.
okay.
Does that answer your
Yeah, I
question?
guess I'm a little confused about that because the town council didn't vote on this, so it's coming to, I mean, they voted on the overall budget, but there
Right.
was no discussion or review specifically of line items in your budget. So it's coming to us kind of unreviewed. Is that a correct?
No, because they did not do a line item review, that is true, but they approved the entire budget, which includes this account.
Okay,
And so the way that the special act has been interpreted by both town attorneys and city attorneys is that once it goes through the town council, the RTM has no action on this budget. And I know that aggravates some RTM members because they're like, why are we looking at this?
Yeah.
And the other part of it is, what do you mean I have to approve it? Because the town's attorney's opinion, as I've been told, is that the RTM has to approve it because it's a line item in the budget overall. So does that, I know it's kind of convoluted,
yeah,
but that's the way the rules are, it's the way it's set up. And the same thing with GLP.
yeah.
They have the similar.
Yeah, I guess what confuses me is that the Groton city writes their ordinances and rules.
Okay,
And you write a rule that says that the town of Groton has to pay you whatever you tell us we have to pay you.
I didn't write that rule. No, sir.
I know, but I mean, that's what I'm looking at is when
What are you reading now? What page?
no, this is a thing you gave me last year that
Yeah.
I was confused on.
Well, that's
And I'm
from-
still
that-
confused on
that-
it, to
that
be
is-
honest with you.
But that is from the special act from the state. So the state is the one that says that the town is responsible for those monies that are necessary and proper for the making and repairing of roads that are town roads in the city of Groton.
Yeah, and I could be wrong on this, but when I looked into that, when the borough was established,
Hmm? 1903.
those were established by a statute.
Correct.
But the town incorporation is just an incorporation and it wasn't approached as a statute by the state.
If you read the entire special act of 1964 as amended,
Yeah,
it does say, it says the same words. It changes borough to city,
yeah, but
and it changes wards and burgesses to, I forget what the term it uses in there now,
but it doesn't have, you don't have a statute number on the acceptance of the incorporation of the town. Or the city, I mean. You know what I mean?
nope, I don't understand your question. So
The,
you're saying the special act is not what we should be following?
well,
Because the special act,
I mean, I'd like to clear it up where we're elected to review a budget. And we come into a budget hearing and we're told we can't review the budget, you just have to rubber stamp it. I don't think that's what, I don't understand that that's what I was elected for. And so it bothers me that I'm hearing this. And so
did you reach out to John Burt by any chance?
I haven't talked to John.
Okay.
I know I know it's tradition.
Well,
And that we've
I don't think
done,
it's tradition. I
that
don't think
we've
we're
done-
doing it by tradition. 50% of the police budget minus my chief's salary is by tradition. I think we're doing this because the special act states that. So I think we're mandated to do it. I don't think we're doing it because we're good people, meaning traditionally.
yeah.
So, I mean, John Burke's got the town's legal opinions on this, and I think that's probably where
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, but it's it still
Well, you-
bothers
Well,
me.
you're not the only person that has been aggravated by that, and and RTM members have voiced those opinions in the meeting.
Yeah,
And if you want to bring it up during the meeting when we go to the body of the whole,
yeah, yeah,
it's up to you, whatever you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
do. I
yeah.
mean,
No,
it's,
we'll go through this tonight now, and I'll take your suggestion and talk to John in the interim, and then
sure,
if there's still questions, we'll talk about it again.
sure.
Okay.
To Mayor Hendrick's credit, he does not come in with a padded budget.
No,
No, so.
No,
No, it's not, I'm not
The
not
direction-
suggesting that there's a
No,
padded budget at
No,
all.
in the
It's
past,
just
they've
the
been
process.
awful large. It was before
the
your.
direction that I give my department heads is it's a continuation budget. We're not looking for fluff, and I'm not, those kind of things, because I'm a taxpayer as well.
Hmm.
And, because the city is one of three things to the town. We're a political subdivision, we're a borough, and we're a fire district.
Mhm.
So I pay fire district taxes in the city of Groton, and then we also pay town taxes.
Right,
So.
Right. no, I appreciate that. That's,
Okay.
We can't do, well, there's nothing we could do anything about, but it's just a general question is, do you have enough money? Are there things that you would do that you're not doing in this budget? Is there like a vision thing?
Well, you can look at our CIPs, I mean, so the CIPs, we're looking at roads that we're paving, that we're forecasting. And we're using the index just like the town does, and just like GLP does. We are trying to stay up on a fleet list on fleet, but and Bill will eventually, when I quit talking, Bill will go through because we have 2 trucks and a forklift that we want to get this year, and we'll talk about that. Now, right now, the challenge that I have is my seawall. My seawall, we had some as found conditions, and we had to go in for some redesign, and now the cost for the remaining portion of the seawall is gonna be over $9 million.
Yeah.
And I went to
Yeah.
the state, we've had meetings with the state, and we're working several avenues to try to get money. I'm getting ready to look at federal funding, to see if we can do something there, but, the bottom line is we have to build that seawall. Because one of the things that I briefed is that if the seawall fails, the forced sewer maintenance in there will pump out, I think it's 765 gallons a minute of raw sewage until it doesn't. It takes us about 4 to 6 hours. So if you do the math, it ends up being between 500 and 700 and something thousand gallons of,
So you gotta find a way to do that.
right. And that's in this, that's what we're working on now, but
Town council spoke about that.
yeah, so that's it.
Thanks.
All right,
So do you, because if you want, I can get Bill to go through a high level overview, but I mean, do you want to do that? If you want to do that, I'll get him to do it.
that would be
Henry,
good.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
All
Yeah.
right, Bill, this is Bill Suttermeyer. He's my new public works director.
But you previously worked for the city?
No.
No, okay,
No, I came from a construction background.
okay.
So what we have in front of us, the major things you're gonna see, on page 3, you're gonna have under repairs and maintenance facilities. We have 87,700. That's also, so the increase in that from the 2025 budgeted year is also the same when you skip to, see which one it is. When you skip to page 11, engineering. Then you go to contractual services. Those are actually two of the same items. So it's ADA study throughout the city to see where we're in or out of compliance with ADA standards. And it's gonna cost, that's roughly about what we have anticipated. We're going through all the sidewalks, anything else where we have, as far as highway budget is considered with any ADA compliance issues or worries that we might have. And so those are the two that kind of come up. I want to make that, because it's, like we said, it's a fully loaded budget. So even though they're the same thing, sometimes it's based off of what we had coming in, they're classified separately. And then we had for our vehicles, Mayor Hedrick had talked about, we were at $166,381. That is for a new forklift and then two F-250s, one of them a utility body. We're doing that because the ones that we have currently, the forklift is 27 years old. It's to a point where it's worked. We've definitely gotten it's done well by us, and it's something that we need that could potentially shut down what we have for operations inside, because whether it's using it to help rig with any parts that we have for our garage mechanic and taking off any loads that we have from trucks that are incoming, et cetera, anything along those lines, something that we need. And when it's getting to this age, it's to a point where when you have something that goes, it's gonna be a catastrophic. It's not gonna be something that's just a maintenance. And the other two trucks, they have, for around here, at least within the city boundaries, one was at a little over 62,000 miles. The other one was at 65,000 miles, a little over. And each of these, just the conditions that you have from the winters that we have to use, whether it be salt, anything else like that, just we have throughout New England, they've kind of both done their part as well in serving us right, and they're crucial in our fleet. And I looked into what it would be to do any sort of maintenance costs just with the body itself, because the rust that we've experienced has gone from not just body but into frame. And I tried to see what we could to see if it was not just extensively into the frame, but just a body repair. And for a value that we had, it was roughly about $5,300. And then and that's the total value of the truck overall. And then just to get the utility body on the 350 was about $10,000. And then to find the same thing for the 2010 250, it was about $7,000, and that was appraised at roughly, from what I did with the research, around $4,800. So we'd be putting more into the trucks than what they're actually currently worth. And with something new, we'll have warranties. We've got things that we don't have to. It essentially just, as everybody knows, when you get something new like that, it's a lot more worry-free in that it comes prepped and ready to go for us. It's right off the rip, and we don't experience any delays in what we're doing for production. And these trucks can also be used not just for wintertime, but also for any time we're doing sidewalk repairs, construction, anything along those lines. So they're multifaceted as well.
What's the turnover time from your budget approval to actually getting delivery in trucks?
To be honest with that, I have to just double check with the vendor that we're using, Monaco. I believe that, yeah. And then that's kind of it going from there. Actually, no, I believe it's Gengris, sorry. Gengris we're going through.
Well,
Yeah.
Jimmer's Ford is on the state bid list.
Yeah,
Okay,
Now, they may have them in stock or they may have to order them. I know when I'm buying utility for Groton Utilities, depending on, especially if it's a specialty truck, I'm talking 18 months to 24 months lead time on it. But this is a general pickup, we should be okay.
yeah, there's other than the utility body and some strobes, things like that,
yeah,
that come with the maintenance vehicles. Excuse me, I should say working vehicles. That's essentially the extent to it, to being a special order.
just concerned about.
Oh, yeah, any turnover
As far
time.
as prices.
Understand?
Would
It-
you sell the old trucks? Or
That,
So we'll do one or two things, either trade it in or we'll do an auction off. And we just did a major auction last year. We had like 15 vehicles that we had collected. I'm not collecting 15 vehicles again. So as the vehicles are being retired, I'm telling my finance guy, you gotta get them on the bid, get them on the bid list, get them out there. I'm not collecting a truck yard anymore.
In days of yore, the town garage used to do maintenance for the fire districts and, Old Mystic was very satisfied with that. And then they decided that they could save money by laying off the mechanic and doing less, and they never approached about, changing the fee structure, because they end up going outside and paying a lot more money.
So we have a garage mechanic.
yeah,
So we have a garage mechanic and he does the normal day and day maintenance, but he also does weld repairs and he's changed transmissions and things like that, so. So we try to keep that in-house as much as possible, but, and one of the challenges we have, and Bill and I are working on a way to make sure that we're keeping track of all the money that we're gonna spend on each truck from now on, is because we're doing it in-house. It's, you buy a bunch of parts and then the part may be bought in February, but not used until June, and is not always allocated to the right truck. So, for example, if I go out somewhere, then they're gonna give me an invoice, I can say, okay, this invoice is for this truck. But we are doing our own maintenance in-house.
So we've got, what we've been continuing on as well, is any part that we have that we're going forth, or any receipt that we have or any invoice that we get, we're making sure it's numbered off just to connect with the fleet. And so we're gonna have it done with both our City Works program, we have that up and going as well, then also I'll be maintaining a hard copy and I'll do it monthly. So what we have is just essentially a monthly audit based off of each truck, and then from there, I can track when our assets go from a working asset to a depreciating asset. Because from there, it's better to kind of know right off the rip when we're gonna need to go and figure out what we're gonna need to. If the capital improvement plans for vehicles along those lines need to be changed around, how, when, why, it kind of gives us the backing information to kind of go
Yeah,
forward with that.
that's, vehicle maintenance, it's like everybody's going, you need to buy a new one. Oh, no, you're spending too much money on it, and so on. But you have to make your decisions as you go along.
If, like I said, going from, I don't mind having something older, but when it comes to dealing with the fleet sense and dealing with this as a business, it's when that asset becomes a depreciating asset. And that's when, if we're sinking more time, money, everything else that goes into making that right and workable upon the street becomes more than what the value of the vehicle is worth all around, that's when we're gonna run into an issue. That's what I'm trying to go and be at the kind of more of a head front on, so that we can track that. So it's more, we're more informed, we've got everything set, we're in more communication with our guys. They're the ones in these trucks day by day, they're identifying the problems. We've got everything from pre-trips to where we're marking those off of, records from when they're doing any maintenance on it. We've got any invoice when we buy a part, that's always numbered off. And we literally have pictured invoice that goes for each single month, and then we can track that as it goes along.
How long do you think these trucks are gonna last? What's the service life on them?
These, what you're talking about for the ones we have
Ones you're gonna
currently?
buy?
Right now, they're just about off the road because the rust has gotten to a point where it's,
You're talking about for the new ones?
New ones.
oh,
how
new
long?
ones,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. The new ones are, right now, we've gotten, one of them is a 2006.
Mhm.
So I'd like to think things have advanced on a little bit since then, so I hope it served us right. I think we'll get our. It'll do right by us.
So you're looking at 10 years on a,
Oh, I,
Like
Almost
20 years.
20.
I, that's what one of them did.
19 is
Yeah.
running it very,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
I mean, the other thing to keep in mind, even though it doesn't, from our normal driving standards.
Yeah.
Where you have with your vehicle, your wear is not really gonna be much if you're thinking about it at a 60 some odd thousand mile.
Yeah.
But with the heavy work use.
Yeah.
In the 3.2 square miles that we have, you're putting that on. That's a good amount of start, stop, go over.
Mhm.
There's a lot more of a different run type based on the run type wear based on the vehicle.
okay.
So it has a different wear time to
Yeah.
what you normally would think of with our daily drivers or something like that.
Hey, you haven't purchased these yet, right?
No,
These
sir.
would be in this budget. Or, when you go to do that, do you look at a trade-in on them, or is that?
Yep.
So you'll evaluate that
If
and
we can
whether
trade in,
that's
if we can
better
trade
than
in,
putting
we
it to
will trade
auction?
in. Well, that's the thing, if we can trade in, we'll trade in.
Yeah,
I'd rather do that, take money off the cost.
yeah.
But if we can't, then we'll have to auction.
Why would it be that you can't?
So you have to look at what your asset value is going to be getting. So whatever your vehicle is appraised at, what you could potentially get for a trade-in value right off the rip at a dealer, as opposed to what the current value would be in an auction
If you
market.
went to auction,
Okay,
and my finance guy does that.
okay. And so you get pretty good numbers and that's what you get at auction? Okay,
We put a minimum,
yeah.
we put a minimum bid,
Mhm.
and if it doesn't make the minimum bid, we don't accept the bid.
Do you folks have to pay taxes on vehicles you buy, or where you're exempt from that?
And we're
Okay,
exempt.
okay.
That saves us much.
Yeah,
They look at your used ones and you're a charity.
and do you consider a leasing option, or is that not
That's
a good way
interesting.
to go?
So the finance director and I just started talking about leasing. The police chief wanted to lease, and we're not really leasing from somebody, we're kind of leasing from ourselves. But because my finance director not a big fan of leasing,
Hmm.
so. But it is something that we're gonna be, especially with the price of the vehicles that are about to go up. We're probably gonna, that'll be on the table more, at
Okay,
least for next year.
In our basic sense too with that, it's just like rent versus a mortgage.
hmm,
What are you gonna get? Where's your equity at? If you have something that you could trade in, you gotta be able to auction off a lease. So at the end, even though you have that, you're not gonna really be able to get the future value out of it.
hmm.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to move the requested. Is it the three? Wait, why
Three
is
million.
this matching?
1091,
Yes.
which is 30.
3,000,000, yeah, 301,1,267, right?
Who's second there?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of account 10901 highway maintenance? For $3,011,267, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. And street lighting.
So for the street lighting, just as we talked about last year, this is the cost of the street lights in the city, and the town pays this. Well, hold on. This is a financing plan. So this is our total budget, but this is what we're asking to do.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank
No problem. Thank you guys. It's a good first experience.
Oh, we
Oh, no,
were
I'm sweating.
intimidating. We're a good group.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, this is one of those
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
pass-throughs, okay. So, I'll make the motion for $136,326.
Second.
Second, okay. Give me a second. All in favor of $136,326? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Mayor Hendrick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. I appreciate it. We'll see you on, well, I hope I don't see you on the 7th. I'm hoping that you guys decide.
Oh, we like to see you.
Oh,
Let's get those.
Oh, yeah.
That is a consonant.
All right. Okay, next. Yeah.
Wait, so what, so with the police we do later, or no, we don't do that,
We
right?
don't, yeah. Do you have this?
I forgot to print
It's
it.
okay. Might be a later copy, yeah. Yeah, it's not. It
I
took
can
me
look it
like
up on my phone.
44 budgets to figure it out. Count 1091, Groton Long Point, page 123. You have kids in the gym at Fitch Middle sometimes that Julian's, no, it's
No,
not you.
just
Okay.
one at the high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, with highway, hi, how are you? How is everybody tonight?
Hi, my name is Glenn Lucer. I'm the Public Works Director of Groton.
And I'm Andrea Frickman. I'm the association manager.
So we have highway maintenance, so. 184. I do have to make a comment. I follow my son around the country wherever he's living. No one has it, the little hamlets the way we do, and I think we're pretty lucky.
We're unique.
Yes, we are, and it's okay to be that way. Okay, let's see, I'm looking at it. 10. So 10911 highway maintenance. And it is $291,000, the manager's number. Anyone have any questions?
I'd like to make a motion to pass 291 for highway maintenance.
My second. Okay. All those in favor?
Would we
Okay.
have some discussion on it?
Yeah, you can discuss that.
Yeah.
Take a second.
Yeah, I second, so, do we discuss?
I've looked at it, I've watched all the meetings, I'm completely satisfied, I think you guys did a good job, budget, and I have no issues with it whatsoever.
I agree, I don't think it's out of line at all.
I confuse easily. So we're looking at what, 241,000?
291.
Plus the $50,000 stormwater study plan. It was a 2-year SIP. Second page.
Okay, so that's the difference between the two. Okay, that's what my question was.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay,
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Street lighting. For $15,768.
I move that we accept $15,768 to street lighting.
I'll second that.
Any questions? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously.
Thank you guys.
You are welcome.
Great job.
Go enjoy some sunshine.
Yeah, gotta get.
Really takes.
No, but we can get,
Oh,
is there a way we can get a copy up here?
This, you want?
A copy of,
Hey, you want to take a
wait,
picture of it?
no, I do have another set. I try to bring another. Set. Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda is Public Works
Microphone.
for the town. You start at page 107.
All right, good evening, everybody. For the record, Greg Hanover, Public Works Director for the town. This year's FY 26 budget is $7,253,238. It's a 4.1% increase over the FY 25 budget. This is a level service budget. There's no new programs proposed. No new positions or any cuts. We have about 43 full-time employees in this account. Most of the increase is due to, let's see, personnel is up 134,000. That's mostly due to contractual salary increases, some increase in overtime, and then we have some anticipated retirements coming up this year that we have to account for with vacation payouts. The operational side of it is up around 148,000. The two primary drivers for that is the increase in cost of utilities. And just as a reminder, that Public Works is function, we pay for all the utilities, which is electric, heating oil, water, sewer for all the town buildings, except for the Board of Ed buildings and the golf course. So that's up around 91,000 this year. We also have our MS4, which is our stormwater management that we are state mandated to monitor the quality of all the stormwater runoff. This year we have to do some substantial work on that permit, so that's up around $200,000 this year. We did look at reducing some of the equipment purchases this year, so we did lower that line item about 35,000, and we also reduced some outside engineering services. Last year I think we had one engineer in our staff, and we're up to our normal 3 engineers now, so we can get rid of our consultants that we were using last year.
Oh, good.
Yep. This year, although I haven't gone to the council yet, but we are proposing a slight increase in the transfer station fees. We lowered them substantially about 4 years ago. And they were kept flat for the last 4 years, but the price for disposal for solid waste is going up pretty significantly. So we want to kind of bump it up just a little bit, like $10 a year or something like that for the permit fees, just to kind of, put more of the burden on the users of the transfer station versus the taxpayers.
Are you still able to sell the aluminum? Or the scrap metal?
We still take all the scrap metal, we still sell that. We used to actually make money on that, but now it's kind of
I
breaking
remember
even.
it wasn't happening during COVID
Yeah,
and stuff, but okay.
yep.
So. Like to make a motion? Are you?
No, I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has, or you want to do your motion,
Yeah, I'll
second,
make
and
a
discussion.
motion And then we can discuss.
Yep.
I'll make a motion for. If I get this right here.
A lot of numbers.
$7,253,000 and $238. Public Works line item 1035.
Second that.
Again, I've paid as much as I could, the Public Works meetings throughout the year. Appreciate you keeping it tight this year and taking care of some issues. I stand 100% behind that number.
Honestly, I think we've come a long way from 10-15 years ago when I first started. And we were constantly cutting these. I think they're coming in really lean at the beginning.
Very lean.
Yes, I do. I have to ask, it's probably not the right budget time, but did you get that washing station for the undercarriage of?
We went out to bid for that. It came in a little over budget, but we had some extra money at the end of the year, so we have ordered it.
Good.
So it'll be coming in. I'm not sure when it's gonna be coming, probably this summer sometime.
Okay, and is the city going to be able to use it on their new trucks?
They could come over if they want to.
Extend that
Oh,
way.
You know,
Okay.
You gotta pay the town fee.
That's right, they have to pay.
I'll have a quarter machine or something.
It's self-service.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The only comment I would make on your meetings is, and maybe it's for IT, very hard to hear some of the people in that meeting.
Yes,
it's
I
worked out
noticed that
terrible.
myself.
It's very
Which
difficult
meeting
to
was
listen
that?
to.
All of them, to
all
be
of them.
honest.
Your the sewage, public works, it's that room, however.
Oh,
it's
room
made.
three,
Maybe I'm
yeah.
not any better.
Yeah.
It's-
it
They don't
is.
have microphones like this. That's the problem. They have just off the TV.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'd be important maybe to talk to IT about.
Yeah, I
that
can
and
see.
if
I'll
we
bring it
can-
up. Yeah, Sean is the guy. I'll talk to him.
Yeah,
about that.
I did, I
Appreciate it, thank you.
noticed that. Okay.
I do have a question. So we haven't had a lot of snow the past, 3 or 4 years. I remember talking about this maybe last year or the year before. But do you, like, if you don't need a lot of snow removal one year, does that, how do you plan for the next year? And do you just have like leftover money from not using the salt and labor, or like how?
Yeah, at the end of the year, any money that's left over just goes into the undesignated fund balance for the
Okay.
whole town. It doesn't get turned back to me or anything like that. Every year it gets, put into
I-
a fund. And the council can use that to offset the tax increases for the
Yeah.
total budget. But the way we calculate like the overtime, we take like the last 7 years, we'll cut off the high and the low and then average the 5.
Uh-huh.
Kind of give us, and we are starting to see a decrease because some of those storms we had 5 or 6 years ago, it might have been, or more storms back 5 or 6 years versus recently. Although this past year, we actually went out, I think 10 or 12 times. I mean, even though it doesn't snow, we get ice first thing in the morning.
Okay,
We still have to get out there because
yeah,
the police are calling us saying, hey, it's school, they're just having delay. We got to get out there and get everything
okay,
safe for
okay,
the buses and, people going to work and stuff. So we do actually go out a lot when you wouldn't think we would need to, but
yeah. Okay,
And how much like this year it got turned back into that fund?
For the salt, we actually ended up using, I think we budgeted for 1,500 tons.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what we ended up using, believe it or not, yeah.
Wow.
Because we also supply it, the Board of Ed takes from our salt pile, they reimburse us for it, and Groton Longpoint does the same thing, they reimburse us.
Okay,
But yeah, we were right on the number with the salt tonnage, and the overtime, I think we were a little bit less.
okay,
I don't have the number that we actually didn't use, but
okay.
we have had a lot of other call outs for other things on overtime. You know, we seem to get, trees coming down on the weekends or in the middle of the night. We have to send guys out for clear the roads. And things of that sort.
Excellent.
So, right. No other question, like to take a vote on $7,253,238. Excuse me, for item number 1035. All those in favor?
Hi.
I,
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Excuse me. Next is page 113. Sewer operating. This. I'm very thankful I don't have to do that. So it's item number 2020.
The 2020 is our sewer operating budget. This is a self-funded budget, so all the sewer user fees, the fees that we charge to the homeowners and the commercial users of the sewer system pay 100% of this as it come out of the taxes. The total budget this year that was passed by the Water Pollution Control Authority is $9,028,481. It's about a 12% increase over last year's, which is almost $1 million, but that's primarily due to some large CIP projects we have coming up this year. We'll talk about CIPs later, but the CIPs for water pollution control get funded out of this account. So that's why you see this one will fluctuate quite a bit, depending on what the CIPs are for that year. We have about a $2 million fund balance, so I'm sure the Water Pollution Control Authority will be looking at that in the next couple of months to probably use a portion of that to pay for this, as well as potential, user fee increase. Right now, residents are paying they're paying $36 a month, so that may go up 50 cents a dollar, whatever the authority decides to do. Personnel is 19 full-time employees in this function. There's no changes. It's a level service budget. Operationally, is where all the increases are, which is almost 900,000. Again, the utilities, between all the pump stations and the sewer treatment plant, it's an energy hog. It really is, with all the pumps and the blowers and everything else we have. So that it is about an $86,000 increase. The cost to haul sludge, at the end, through our process, the sludge that comes out, we have to haul it away to a place in Rhode Island, and the trucking keeps going up for that. So that's about a $40,000 increase. The cost of chemicals used for processing is another $35,000 increase. And then the CIPs is about a $700,000 increase from last year. We have 3 CIPs, which, I'll get into in a little bit, but those totaled $700,000.
You had a question about the chemicals. They're not from this country, are they?
From this country?
Yeah, do we source them? Are they
I
manufactured?
don't know where they come from, to be
I
honest.
know a lot of it is manufactured overseas, but I didn't know if that would. They have it with.
With the tariffs and everything. Yeah, I don't.
You're not.
I have not
exempt
heard
from the
that yet.
tariffs. The town isn't exempt from that, are they?
No.
I'd like to make a motion
Oh, what?
for $9,028,481.
Okay, I hear a second.
Second.
Okay, let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Hi.
All
Aye.
those opposed?
Are we voting? All right.
Yeah, and we're voting. Any abstentions? And it passes unanimously. All right. 2030 solid waste fund, page 119.
All right, 2030, the budget for FY 26, the request is $1,904,142. It's about a 4% increase over last year. This is what we call a pass-through budget. All the haulers that either the fire districts hire or the residents hire themselves, those haulers take their waste to the Lisbon incinerator. The town of Groton is the holder of the permit for that facility. So we actually, as part of the regional authority SCARA, we're one of 11 members of that regional authority, and they have a contract until 2030 with that facility. So the cost to dump is going from $67 to $75 a ton. That's what the increase is resulting from. But what happens is SCARA sends us a bill, the town pays it, and then we subsequently bill the haulers, and they pay us, reimburse us. So really, this account is just kind of moving money through.
You just act as the broker.
We're just acting as a broker, exactly.
So I assume our trash bills will go up.
They probably will go up.
It's okay. I think we have a pretty sweet deal as it is, so.
Yeah, compared to other parts of the state, we're doing pretty darn well.
Yes.
I mean, some people are paying well over $100 a ton.
Will we be able to renew in 2030?
That'll be up to the SCARA. I'm sure they'll be, well before then starting to renew with or look at other options and negotiating a new contract.
Okay, any questions?
Like to make a motion for $1,904,142 to solid waste on number 23.
Sounds good. Can you have a second? Okay, so let's vote. On $1,904,142. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimous. Okay. Go to our next budgets, which is the fleet. Count 6040 on page 123.
This is our fleet account 6040. The total FY 26 budget requested is $1,462,530. This one is actually almost a 23% decrease from last year. There's really just three items in this, and the first one is the fuel costs. Those actually have gone down about $47,000. The town is part of a larger consortium that we all buy fuel at a bulk rate. So the costs that we're paying for both gas and diesel will be down this year than it was this past year. Maintenance costs are relatively flat. And then for vehicle replacements, we're decreased at about $380,000 from what we did last year. I can run through what we're looking to replace. For the police, we have 3 patrol cars. We're replacing some of the 2017 Ford Explorers that have over 130,000 miles on them. So we have 3 of those. We have 2 what we call police detective or admin cars. These are 2005, 2013 vintage with well over 100,000 miles on them. And then we have 2 pickup trucks for the public works foreman. These are 2013 F-150s with over 125,000 miles on them, and bodies are all rusting out on those, so they need to be replaced. We have an asphalt recycler. This is really almost a piece of equipment, but we put it in fleet. We have an existing piece of equipment. It's from 1997. We can't get repair parts for it, but it's on a trailer, and in wintertime or even in summer, we can throw old asphalt that we've collected through the years, curbing and stuff into this machine. It heats it up and gives us nice material for pothole patching. So
Well,
we use that especially in the wintertime. We use that all the time.
and you've been out recently, I've seen.
You know, and it works well. It's much better than doing coal patching. And then the last vehicle is a 24 passenger bus for Parks and Recreation for the senior center. And this one will actually be, we'll apply for a grant that'll get reimbursed for this one. So all those vehicles total up to $645,000.
What will you do with the old police vehicles?
The police vehicles, I mean, we try to trade them in just as the city was saying. But some of those police vehicles, they don't really give us a lot of trade-in because it's really hard to use miles. The pickup trucks and stuff, we'll usually trade those in and get a pretty decent price for those, but if we don't feel we're getting a fair trade-in value, we do the same thing. We auction them off.
Did you, if I remember correctly, there's still many vehicles that need to be replaced. Is that true?
Yeah.
So were you just trying to reduce your overall budget for this line item by?
Yeah, I'd actually put in for a couple of another police vehicle and a street sweeper. The town manager cut those because he felt it was just
Okay.
going to be too much. It
I see.
was over $1 million. The street sweeper itself is like a $450,000
Mm.
piece of equipment.
Mhm.
The one we have, we're like welding on new pieces to keep it running and on the road.
I have a question. How often do you have a schedule for street sweeping, or is it when there's an afternoon of downtime it goes out?
No, we have a guy that's almost out there full time. I mean, we're supposed to be hitting every street at least once a year. There's some areas like we do where we know we have a lot of debris and stuff like in downtown Mystic, we sweep more often and things of that sort, but we try to hit every street at least once.
And how is the police with that vehicle cut out?
They'll be fine. They're okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I asked because in Miami, someone living there, they sweep once every 5 years.
It's every 5 years.
Once
Well,
every 5 years, I thought, what's the point? It's already washed.
I guess they don't have, well, I guess they have sand from the beach wash. They blow it up on this.
No,
We don't use sand anymore, so it's a little easier for us,
Mhm.
Back when we used sand for winter
Oh, yeah.
maintenance, it was always a problem because we'd be out there.
There's a lot of other paraphernalia on the
Yeah.
streets there.
Yeah.
Clamshells, you sweep them.
Clamshells, yeah, I would pick that.
Yeah.
Rocks.
We got a really great drop zone.
Oh, yeah, for seagulls.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Okay,
make a
seeing
motion.
none, what?
No.
Do you have, no, go. for
No,
it.
I was just gonna make a motion.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. I'll make a motion to move the number one, is it the
Do
$1,462,530?
I have a second?
Second,
Okay. Okay, so let's take a vote on 1,462,530. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, passes unanimously. Okay. Our next on the agenda would be CIPs. Are you ready? The roads. CIP 1. On page 215.
This is our
Town pavement management program.
1A. The request is for 1.3 million. This is our annual allotment for repaving roads. We have a program where we keep track of the condition of all the pavement throughout town. And each road it receives a grade, which is pavement condition index, PCI. The lower the number, the worse the road. This year, we're looking at, it's a list of roads here, but North Pleasant Valley, which is a very long road. Crystal Lake Road, which connects North Pleasant Valley to Route 12, and Ohio Avenue, which also connects North Pleasant Valley to Route 12. It has a PCI at 12, which is almost a failed condition. Lambtown Road, Shoeville Road, and Godfrey Road in Mystic. So most of these are what we call collector roads. They're more of our major roads. Last couple of years, we've done some neighborhoods. This year, we're trying to get our collector roads all back up to snuff. We hit some of our big ones in previous years, like Flanders Road, Buddington Road. So those are the roads we're looking at this year. It's 1.3 million. The town council did, for financing, use 300,000 from LoSiP, which is the state CIP funds that we get every year. We get around $300,000 from the state for projects such as this. So they allocated that. So the capital reserve fund, which is the taxes, would be just 1 million.
And we have no say on where it gets funded from. We only approve the amount. Okay, good. I only have one question. Ohio Ave, now I know most of that is Navy housing. Are we paving in Navy housing
No,
or just where it comes
just,
out?
just that little short section
Okay,
is a town road. Yeah, once you get east of North Pleasant Valley, that's Navy housing. They take care of that themselves.
okay, thank you.
The number one.
1.3.
Okay, so it's 1,300,000, not 1 million, correct?
1,300,000.
Okay, good. And then the other 300,000 that LoSiP money is in addition to this.
No. You just
We
need
have
to
to
approve the
approve the number
1.3.
because
You don't need to
those-
worry about, I'm just letting you
Okay.
know
That, no. I
for your own
appreciate that.
information, that's all.
All right, so. Okay, so CIP 1A. Town Pavement Management Program. I'd like to move the number $1,300,000. Do I have a second?
Second,
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, passes unanimous. Okay, bridge repair 260.
This is the funds requested are $100,000 for the repairs to the Thomas Road Bridge. This is right at the city-town line on Birch Plain Creek. State DOT did an inspection of this a number of years ago. They found some issues with it. We hired an engineering firm. They went out, agreed with all the DOT's report. They designed the repairs to it. We've got all the permits for it from DEEP and the Army Corps of Engineers. So we're ready, the plans and specs are already ready to bid this. So the estimated cost for the repairs is $100,000.
We're not doing the North Stonington Bridge and glad to get.
No, not in the near future that I'm aware of.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so are there any questions? Seeing none, let's make a motion. I'll make a motion for $100,000 for capital improvement 1B.
Second,
And all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? This is unanimously. I've a question, which really isn't yours, but I don't know who else to ask. It's Hanover. The property that's adjacent that was previously the golf course.
Mhm.
Any news on that?
I've not heard a word on that.
Okay.
I know there's a for sale sign out there. I don't even know.
That's all I've
it's a
seen.
lot of money. They're asking.
That's what I thought.
And I think there's like a 20% that they'll have to leave in natural state, anybody who gets it. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
So
believe a lot of that,
much is
it's
left.
also in a flood zone there. I think a lot of that property.
Okay. Maybe Avalonian should buy it.
yeah,
Nice thing for them. Okay, CIP 2. Drainage and watershed protection, culvert rehabilitation. On page 217.
This is funds 319,000 requested for the Quaker Farm Road culvert replacement. This culvert or this road has been out of service for a number of years now. And we actually requested funds and was approved a couple of years ago for $741,000, which was the town share of the total, the cost at that time, which was $1.4 million. This bridge was approved for the state local bridge program, which means the state will fund 50% of the cost and town the other 50. But because prices have increased since we've got, that original estimate, the current estimate is now just over $2 million, which means our share is going to now be $1,060,000. So we're just looking to get the difference between what was approved and that $1,060,000, which is $319,000.
So
Hope that makes sense.
Yes, it looks like it's ready for construction. How long will it take to start if this is proved to?
We've got all our permits. The plans are just about ready to bid. We've been talking to our engineer and they're suggesting we wait a few more months. I mean, obviously the money is not approved till July 1 anyway, but we would bid it this summer and then the contractor would get all his materials and stuff over the winter and then start on the ground running next year in the spring, and then be done by that fall.
Will
It'll be
this,
done by fall. you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
will this help with any of the flooding down?
Yeah, we have a lot of beaver activity up there that creates problems for us. So there's 2 5-foot diameter pipes and we're replacing it with actually an actual bridge.
Okay.
So it'll be better flow through there.
And the beavers, maybe we'll find another.
They'll move somewhere else, yeah.
No, I have a question. It says, as part of a preliminary design phase, the possibility of raising River Road would be investigated.
Oh, that's a different project.
Am I looking at the wrong thing?
217?
Yeah. Why is that on here then?
Mhm.
Oh, this is funds that were approved this last year. You're looking at
Oh,
FY
yeah, I
25.
see it.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right. So was that done? Do you know?
No, we're in the process of doing that now. We've got an engineer on board, so we're starting that work now.
Okay, so I guess my question is, if they actually raised River Road, would the culverts be replaced as well, or is this something that will be there regardless? You know what I mean? Like, would they replace this culvert, but then get rid of it if they raise the road? Or
Well, the one we're talking about tonight is the Quaker Farm Road. It's a totally different section of
oh,
town.
okay.
We're up, Quaker Farm is off north of Route 184 up in the
Oh,
Ledger
okay.
Town line.
But then this is farther down.
I see.
Farther, do you
Yeah,
know
it's a separate project.
Yeah,
Okay.
where we used to feed the ducks when it was okay to
That's
feed the ducks.
strange.
We don't feed the ducks
Okay,
anymore.
I don't know where Quaker Farm Road is then.
It's-
Yeah, unless you have a reason to go there, you wouldn't.
you-
Okay,
Right.
okay, got it.
Whatever.
So it has nothing to do with River Road.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those I'd like to move the number $319,000 for CIP 2A.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. Passes unanimously. On to CIP 3 sidewalks. Replacement sidewalk construction found on page 21.
This is, every year we ask for some funds to replace deteriorated concrete sidewalks, add handicap ramps where we need to, things of that sort. So it's $100,000. We've been working on Route one, various areas in Mystic, Ledgeland Drive, we put some ADA ramps in. Judson Avenue, we just did this last fall. So you're just trying to eliminate deteriorated sidewalks, trip hazards, things of that sort.
Until you grind them down and move them.
We do grind them down if we can. Yep. A lot of times it makes sense to do that.
Is there anything we can do to make them look more appealing to get people to walk on? I don't know, something about Route 1 in Groton. I look at it and go, oh geez, why would anyone want to walk?
I walk that a lot, and it's really a great sidewalk.
Yeah, it's just.
Going actually from downtown all the way up to near the subbase.
Okay,
It's
you have,
really good.
okay, because something where the interchange for the highway is up to where.
It's scary from the road, but
It
it's really
does.
not bad to walk.
Is it?
It's a nice
Okay.
wide sidewalk and.
When I
good
get my new hip,
crosswalks.
I'm gonna walk it.
Okay.
So-
I'll meet you at Christopher's.
Okay. You're up. Okay, so any questions? Okay. To write this down and be. So seeing no other questions, I'd like to move $100,000
Second,
for sidewalks. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed, abstentions. Unanimously. The CIP 6, page 239, public buildings.
Okay, this is the town hall complex, which consists of town hall and the adjacent community center, the former Fitch Middle School. There's actually two components to this request of 235,000. The first is 160,000 to do some improvements to the parking lot. I don't know if you've been out there at 5 o'clock at night and seen the commotion or the chaos that's there. But you have kids running around, you've got a lot of activity going on and people are driving through there probably a little too fast. So we have some plans to improve some traffic calming devices, some raised crosswalks, reduce some islands to kind of slow people down through there, make it a little bit safer for you dropping your kids off, things of that sort. So that's 160,000 out of the 235. The other part of this project is the exterior wall of the community center where the old cafeteria is. It's now a multi-purpose room. It faces Town Hall and Depot Road. It's a big brown steel painted brown wall that's all rusting, falling apart. The 75,000 is to get an architect to design and get cost estimates and plans to replace that with a more energy efficient and one that's not going to fall down.
That's like the outside of the dojo there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just one comment, I believe part of this, they were gonna hold until January, is that right? Part of
Yeah, the parking lot they were going
the
to hold.
parking lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we would actually construct that next year.
We'll still,
You still approve it.
still voting, approving it. And then-
So you have the money to start the plans and the.
Yeah, the council wanted to hold some CIPs, the money to see what happens with federal funding, if they need some extra for education or something like that. So they asked us what projects we could kind of hold off for 6 months. No, this is one of
And
them.
this is one of them.
So the parking lot portion was one of them.
So I'd like to move $235,000 for Public Works Town Hall and Community Center building. Have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Right. That passes unanimously. Town Hall Annex Complex and Twin Bay Garage. That is found on page 240.
Okay, the funds requested are 380,000, and the council has funded this out of the CIP fund balance. So that would mean it's not coming out of,
So it's not an
Taxes.
additional tax.
it's not additional tax, correct? It's coming out of the bank account, I guess, if you will. This is to replace the roof on our 20-bay storage garage, which is out back here. That garage was built in 1985. The roof is original. So it is showing some signs of wear and leaks. So we had an architect last year do the design. The plans were ready to go out to bid. They came up with an estimate of $380,000. So that's what we're looking to do. We would get that done probably this fall.
Would anyone like to move $380,000?
I'll move the 380,000 for that.
Okay, do I have a second? All those in favor of $380,000 coming from the capital fund balance for CIPF, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. We are on to Spicer House Boathouse. On page 241.
Yeah, this was funds we had put in, requested 30,000, but after which was to help with a $60,000 grant we got from the State Department of Economic and Community Development. We thought we were going to need that additional funds, but we actually went out to bid recently and got some very favorable bid results. So we're actually able to do the whole project for the 60,000. So we do not need the 30,000 any longer. So the council zeroed this one out.
I'd like to make a motion,
Yes,
zero. or capital.
An easy one.
Let's vote yes.
all those in favor,
Aye.
zero, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions?
That's an easy
We
one.
always like them, those. That's a good one. Okay, hey, golf course facilities.
Oh, I think we skipped one.
Did we?
No, looks like.
Yeah.
Or do, oh no, 6K, is that, no, you're right,
Yeah.
6K, I'm sorry, I missed one.
Okay. But I, possible I would skip one, you know, to do that before.
This is the golf course, we're requesting funding of $30,000 to repaint the old cart building. This is the building that's right on Plant Street. If you're familiar with the golf course, it's right adjacent to the clubhouse. This has the same architectural details as the clubhouse. It was actually the original Caddy Shack. It's kind of fallen in a little bit of a disrepair, so we want to get some minor repairs done to the exterior and paint it before it starts looking really shabby.
That's that one you come up to, coming through like the parking lot.
Yeah, when you go to the main parking lot, you walk right by it to go to the pro shop in the clubhouse, yeah.
So 30,000. Or 100,000.
30,000.
30,000, okay.
100 is.
Any other questions? Okay, all those, well, before we move on from the clubhouse, who paid for those lovely bathrooms? I went and had some fish and chips several Fridays this past Lent, and those bathrooms were really nice, the new ones.
Yeah, they came out nice. No, that was, we had some CIP money that we got several years ago and then some state funding too.
They came out, they look stellar, they really did. Much better than.
Much better than what was there,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, okay, golf course facilities, 30,000, I'll move $30,000. Anybody like to second?
Second.
All those in favor of $30,000 for golf course facilities,
Aye.
opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Piece of paper. We're on to L leased buildings on page 243.
Okay, this is $60,000 for exterior repairs and repainting of the Groton ambulance building that's on Route 117. The town owns this building and we lease it to Groton Ambulance. And they have requested that, that we repaint the exterior of that building.
Okay, the roof is holding up now,
The
though.
roof got replaced about 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay. And you're in agreement that it needs to be repaired?
Yeah,
I haven't looked at it that closely. All right. Anybody have questions?
Just one, I know, there was some concern originally about, the lease, that it was their responsibility to paint, but for interpretations were different. And I agree 100% that it needs to be done now. In the future, is that going to be considered our responsibility, or will it be the tenant's responsibility?
yeah, I mean,
I guess it was weather related, and we interpreted, the town interpreted that they painted, and they interpreted that we did. I
yeah,
don't know if it's resolved.
no, I mean, our town attorney and myself, the town manager, all agreed that the lease is pretty clear that they're responsible for the maintenance and to pay for maintenance, and painting is a maintenance thing. If a tree fell on the building, yes, the town would repair, pay for all that. That's the weather related stuff, but just, the normal wear and tear. Under the lease agreement, they are supposed to replace it, but it does also have a clause in there that the town can pay for maintenance of items if they so choose to. This last year, the council chose not to, and this year they chose to paint.
Okay,
It
to
will
pay.
keep the building in good repair this way.
It'll keep it in good repair, yes.
Alrighty. So I'd like to amend $60,000 in project billings for CIPL. All those in favor? Oh, so I need a second,
Second.
sorry. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes unanimously. Police,
Nope.
244.
Golf course maintenance. facilities
240.
244.
No, it's police is the next one.
245, right?
We have to do M first.
Probably you didn't get the result.
Oh, okay.
The revised one.
Oh.
Yeah, they put this police one in the public safety, and I told them this was the
Oh,
public
yeah.
works.
Did they
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, you've got the revised. I kept
Oh,
looking at
this
them.
doesn't,
Yeah,
this doesn't have.
That's why,
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah,
have
the
I have the old
revised
one,
should
and I
have it in
kept
there.
looking, going, what's revised? That's what it is. Okay, oh, golf course
Well,
maintenance.
so you're saying it's public safety.
Yeah, it's in public safety.
No, they put this in public safety, but it should be here tonight.
So it's
Oh, it should be.
It is ours, yeah.
It's
Okay,
not the
it should be.
revised.
I must have the revised, okay,
Yeah, it was revised to
44.
include this with public
I
works.
see.
okay,
Very
so
good.
page 244. And then
So this is the police station. The request is for $100,000. This is for design and contract bid document preparation by an architect to replace the entire roof. Some of the portions of the roof are still original to the 1979 building. And way past its useful life. It also includes some masonry repairs. We're getting a lot of crumbling mortar between the brick joints and the main entry, the stair ramps, a lot of concrete that's starting to deteriorate. So we want to address these issues. So this is for an architect to do design work and give us a cost estimate for the work, which we will ask for next year.
I'd like to move $100,000.
second. One quick question, did they fix the locker room? I know there was a moisture issue.
It's being worked on right now,
It is,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, they're doing all the HVAC work now, and then the lockers are due I think in August.
Okay, good.
And that'll be all that'll be all refurbished by the fall.
Good. Right, all those in favor of $100,000 to help fix the police station, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? You abstain to anything. Passes unanimously, okay. Oh, golf course maintenance facility sprinkler system. 45. Okay,
This is
that's
two,
for the-
$280,000, and this one is also out of the CIP fund balance. This is for a sprinkler system in the golf course maintenance facility, located off Plant Street. This is the facility where all the mowers, all the equipment is stored, and it's one of the few buildings left in town that doesn't have a fire alarm system or a sprinkler system in it. And, it's well over $1 million worth of equipment they have in there, so we want to protect it.
Also combustibles in there.
Yeah, plus all the chemicals and everything else in there. So this is for the design and the construction.
And the both.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to move, oh, are there any other questions?
I have a question, so. This would not come out of money generated by the golf course, right? I mean, this is,
Correct.
so why is that, I guess?
There was a time that the golf course wasn't generating enough funds to be self-sufficient on the operations as
Yeah.
well as do the improvements, so the town started paying for improvements like bunker repair and
Mhm.
some of these other things. I think the golf course is doing so well now, I think you might start to see a shift where they're gonna start funding some of their own projects and take them out of the CIP.
So what are they using the extra money that they make? Are they just putting it back into the?
I don't know if, I don't know, they have their own balance, fund
Yeah.
balance.
They're doing bunker repairs with it.
Yeah, I think they are doing some bunker repairs this year with it.
Hmm.
But no, that is a good question.
Excellent question.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the importance of this, but. I don't know, I don't quite. I don't like that the town has to pay for it necessarily. I mean, I understand that the town owns,
This has been an ongoing thing for
yeah.
years, yeah, back and forth.
and that's a lot of money.
I agree, except for just the public safety aspect of it.
Right.
The only
Yeah.
reason I would say, I think. It's
Yeah.
stated in the future, they'll be taking care of more of that stuff, but.
Well, who had, so has the golf course actually said that they would? Like, is there some sort of agreement or how does it work? Like, say something similar needs to be done, needs to be fixed in the future. You said that they mentioned that they would maybe start,
Yeah, that's
Paying
really
for
the town council has to kind of work with the town manager and the Parks and
Yeah.
Rec director and kind of.
To
and
make
I
that
know I've
happen.
heard that they've talked about starting to do that.
okay,
Yeah, it's really a policy decision, I guess, for the council.
yes, yeah,
And if I do pick up that kind of activity, you would still need to be involved, right? There's engineering and contracting. They're
Yeah,
not-
we still support them
Yeah,
with the
okay.
project management stuff. They would just fund it all.
okay,
It's just where it comes from funding. We wouldn't be out of the picture or anything.
yeah.
No, I'm not a golfer, but I do believe over the years, they do pay for more than they used to. Am I right, Gary? Gary's the golf. guru
You're
here.
the golf guy.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of sprinkler systems, but they don't save anything on insurance premiums. Unless it's a hotel, in which case first premium pays for the sprinkler system. Unless you got a bunch of people in there.
Yeah.
But, but it doesn't mean we don't have to build a new building. It's this thing, I'm sure, I'm not familiar with this building, but I'm sure if it caught fire, it would probably burn to a crisp.
Yeah, this is built, we're currently putting a new siding, new windows and doors and new roof on it. I mean, you can't really see it from Plant Street. It's kind of in the woods back there. But it's a metal building. It's been there for years and I mean, we finally got some money last year to put a new roof on it, put all new siding on it and insulation and everything. So I mean, we are, investing in this building. So it would be nice to
Kind of
It
the
is.
next step.
kind of the next step to.
is it a heated building?
Yeah.
And they keep equipment and that's what.
Yeah, and then the guys work all the guys that work on the golf course, the superintendent has his office in there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there are and there's bathrooms, so there is
Yeah,
more than just, it's not just a cold storage building.
Okay. Okay, people need to- Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'd like to move $280,000 for sprinkler system for the golf course. Do I have a second? Gary, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Water pollution control authority, page 256.
Okay, these are the projects that I mentioned previously when we were talking about the sewer operating fund. These are the CIPs that are all paid for out of the sewer user fees. The first is $175,000 for preliminary plans and cost estimates to extend the sewer up Route 117 to Center Groton. Currently, the sewer ends just past the Marriott on 117. For years, we've encouraged developers that want to develop Center Groton. There's that large vacant parcel there. But it's always the sewer, the cost to get it up there. It's probably another almost a mile sewer, so it's fairly expensive. It's on the order, the construction's on the order of $4 to $5 million. So there are grants out there, but in order to apply for some of these grants, we have to have some decent cost estimates and plans. So the town is looking at investing some money so that we can get some of these grants to spur economic development in that area. And also if we start getting any failures up in that area of town, at least the sewer would be available. The septic failures.
I know that planning and zoning are working on the zoning requirements for that area to include multi-use or multi-family buildings. So sewer up there would be a really nice economic driver for the town, I think.
I'm old enough to know, have been involved in it with my dad. There, Bristol Mall was supposed to be in Groton, on Drosdick Drive, up at the end, where the apartments are in. And the developer they needed the sewer run up, it was 1 mile also. And the town said, no, they wouldn't pay for it. And they said, you pay for it. He said, but I won't own it and anyone can hook up to it. They said, too bad. And that's why mall is in Waterford and not in Groton. So I will never cut my nose
Well,
off this.
it's
button
empty,
case
so
with the sewer.
that makes you feel better.
Yep, so
Nobody's
yeah,
using it.
definitely, So how much, what, I said total 525? No,
No, 175.
175. Would anyone like to move $175,000 from CIP 10A from the sewer use fees? I guess it really isn't a tax, but
So moved.
okay, and I'll second. Okay, all those in favor of $175,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous, see, Doug did it. Good thing. Okay, how about this pump stations? On page 257.
Yeah, the request is for $300,000 for design funds to rehabilitate. It's called the Little Gibraltar Pump Station. It's on Cedar Road in West Mystic. We've been, every other year kind of doing another pump station, kind of upgrading these. They're all about 40, 50 years old and
257.
and they need new pumps, motors and stuff, that everything's getting antiquated. And this one also happens to need some structural concrete repairs. We've done the Goss Cove Pump Station, Gravel Street in Mystic. We're working on the Mumford Cove Pump Station, and this is the next one in line. We had a study done a number of years ago, kind of identifying the priorities. So these funds would be used to get the plans and cost estimates all ready for bidding.
How much do you think it will be to,
For the actual work would be
Yeah.
about $2 million.
when do you think that may come through?
Probably another year or two.
Would anyone like to move $300,000 for study here? In the pump station,
I'll move 300,000.
and I'll second it. Okay, all those in favor of $300,000 for CIP 10B? Pump station, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Is this the last one, really?
Mhm.
Wow. For the 10C treatment facility on page 258.
This is a request for 1.3 million, to repair a failed primary clarifier. The plans and specs are all done, ready to bid this. We have in the treatment plant process, there's 2 of these units. They are a large tank with a skimming device, and that device has failed. Needs to be replaced. Some concrete work needs to be done. So this one's out of service. The other one's, probably going to need repairs in a year or two, but we want to get this one up and running
Oh,
before we have both of them out. Then we'll be in real trouble.
how old is it?
When the plant was originally built in 71.
Oh, really? Righty, any questions? It's kind of, we don't have a choice then. Okay, I'd like to move $1,300,000 for 10C treatment facility. That is second.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That's the union. Can't believe it got through that so fast.
Motion to adjourn?
Great, I second. Thank you, everyone. Were we boring over there?